The Unscrewed Mind.
All right. So, Unscrewed Mind, episode number 36, Thoughts Towards Others. This is a detailed process, and everyone will learn a lot from this episode. We're going to be going over several different things, how your thoughts affect you, how your thoughts affect others, and what keeps relationships repeating. Same kind of thing, attitudes, and people popping up with the same attitude. Your hair looks like 100% different from there to there. It was insane.
Well, when
It's
I
like,
slicked it back.
yeah, like not even the same person on the call. It's like,
Yeah.
all right. If you'll notice, whenever anyone asks you a question about something that they are wanting to do or something that they're thinking about going into, you are most likely going to have the response about how that would affect you, not how it would affect that person. So if somebody says, hey, I'm thinking about opening a new business, and you know that they've got this job and they're doing this, and you're like, oh, I don't know if you should do that, because that's your own fear coming out. That's your thought process on it, and you have no idea what that person knows about the subject or thinking about the subject or doing about the subject. So when you're thinking like that, you have to understand that everyone else is doing the same thing to you.
Well, an important aspect and one thing that everyone always talks about is one, careful who you share your dreams or your mission or your purpose with. And then the
Yeah.
other thing is to surround yourself with like-minded people. If you're thinking about taking on an entrepreneurial endeavor, you obviously want to ask the advice of someone who's started their own business or who's gone out on a limb or who's tried something new and has been successful. You
Yeah.
don't want to ask like a penny pinching miser whether or not you should put all your eggs in one basket, because
Mm-hmm.
that's not something that they're into doing. Armed with that information that someone's only going to give you the advice that makes sense or makes them feel good, it tells you a lot about who you should share information with, basically.
Yeah. And then you're also setting yourself up for expectations about how that person's going to respond if you aren't successful at whatever you're going towards immediately. Let's move into how your thoughts affect others. If you are constantly thinking that a person is going to react a certain way, or you're going to have a certain experience with that person, no matter what kind of poker face you put on, you're acting like everything's great, trying to put on your best foot forward with the person, the vibrational output that you're putting out to that person is constantly a negative thought process, or you're thinking, man, this guy is always going to do this over and over again. But when you see him, you're like, oh, hey, good to see you, blah, blah, blah. You can tell that it's not right. You're trying to trick yourself into it, but you really have to reprogram at a subconscious level, not at a conscious level. Because you're not, that's the whole thing is you can't trick the subconscious from when you're talking about other people. I mean, of course, writing down your goals and talking about the person in a positive light will directly affect them as much as you thinking about them in a negative light. So I have had this happen so many times since I have really gotten into the law of attraction. Is I have thought about certain people, and they come back and do the exact same thing over and over again. And I feel it's frustrating, because now I know that I have a subconscious belief about that person.
Before the podcast episode and even leading up to it, I kind of went down this rabbit hole about attitude towards others. We're talking about thoughts towards others, but then I went down this rabbit hole on attitude towards others. And it was interesting that there's multiple kinds of attitudes. And one of them was a kind of an implicit attitude, which means that your behavior towards someone or your attitude towards someone is subconscious. And it can be something that maybe that this person's done to you over and over again, or it could be something that someone in your past has done to you over and over again. And now you just react to similar people in the same way, and they haven't done anything to you at all. It could be someone that you've met for the first time, but because you have this roadblock or this attitude that's been formed over years about a certain type, there's nothing that they can do to make you feel better about them. It's something that you have to do, something that you have to change about how you're treating them.
Then I've got on here keeping relationships the same. If every day you're wanting somebody to act a different way towards you or do something different in their life, and you just keep seeing a repeated habit over and over again, if you'll notice, your thoughts line up with that repetition. Mm-hmm. So you have a constant expectation of that person to do exactly what they're doing on a daily basis. And until you can let go of that or reject it or reprogram it in your mind, you're going to constantly get that from that person over and over again.
I don't have a whole lot to share on that one, so
no?
It's good though. Yeah, it's good.
You don't think so? What do you mean?
No, you like it. We don't necessarily have to have a back and forth.
No, I was just saying.
You hammer it.
Okay, I'm just making sure. And the last thing that I want to talk about is people popping up with the same attitude. Have you ever met anybody that says that they keep meeting the same kind of men or women, and they keep doing the same things over and over? Or somebody that's had a girlfriend that acts just like the previous girlfriend and the previous one before that. And you're just like, you tell me that you hate how this person acted, yet this person seems to be a carbon copy of the previous person. So why are you continuing to see that same kind of thing? And it all boils down to the vibration that you're putting off is asking the universe to bring another person that has that same thought process back into your life.
Yeah. And then, it doesn't have to be even relationships, like if a job always ends the same way, or if every time you go to a restaurant, something isn't right, or, if it's just like always something is going wrong for me, like the same thing in each one of those situations is you as a person, and if you're looking outside of you for the answer, that's not where it is. It's inside of you. I think it's important when you talk about how you treat other people, and then you talk about how your vibration is kind of the root of how all of your relationships go. Then the most important thing that you should do any day is make sure you feel good about yourself, right? So if I want to change my opinion of you, then I need to change my opinion of myself, simply because you're a reflection of some piece of me in some way, shape, or form. That's why we like each other. That's why we have a relationship. I see something in you. You see something in me. To change my opinion of myself to be more confident is going to help me have a more positive attitude or a more positive outlook on just about every situation that I'm in. I don't want to pass these ideas or these thoughts off as myself. I got these off of Tim Robbins's website. But he kind of gives 11
Tony
things
Robbins.
that you can do. Tony, right? Tony Robbins. Yeah.
Okay.
Did I say Tim?
Yeah.
That's his brother, Tim. So a lot of people haven't been to Tim Robbins' website. Looks a lot like Tony.
Shorter.
But shorter.
Not quite as big.
Quiet. It's soft-spoken, but has some really good thoughts on how you can be more confident.
Whispers the message.
Here we go. So, body language, think positive, have a growth mindset, are kind of a few that he leads with. And then there's this 11-step thing, and I just want to go over them really quick. If one of them stands out, you can say something.
Okay.
Overcome limiting beliefs, determine what matters to you, assess your top human need. And I think this is really interesting because, everyone needs something, but is it one of these? Certainty, significance, variety, love or a connection, growth? Do you need to feel like you're contributing to society? Which one of those needs speaks to you? And then is it being filled? Improve self-talk. We talk about that all the time. Practice gratitude is something we talk about. Change your physiology, work out, meditate, concentrate on putting the good stuff into your body so that you can get good stuff out. Practice power poses. Have you ever, you may do this, I don't know. Have you ever go into a meeting, put your arms up in the air and be like, this is going to be great? Or
Yeah.
to relax before a phone call, put your feet up on a desk and just kind of recline like I have this, instead of, crossing your arms, putting your head down and, trying to shrink yourself out of the situation.
Yeah.
Think of past success. How often do you, going into a meeting or whatever, think about how well another meeting went prior to going into that one? Visualize your goals, make eye contact, and then live in the present. There's a lot to unpack there, but a lot of it sounds really, really similar to things that you and I have talked about before.
Yeah, I think all of those tie in great because,
Mhm.
and everything in the self-improvement, law of attraction, all of that ties in so well. But when I listen to self-improvement prior to getting into the law of attraction, I did not listen to it.
Okay.
It's the only way I can
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, that's what's working for this guy. This guy's just trying to sell this book. That's all there is to it. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
But now I know that it's true what the person is saying, and they're truly trying to get it across to others, but you can't hear it unless you can hear it.
The Unscrewed Mind.